your satin sheets. So living here on soft mink, you know where to find my door, and I know what you're crying.
Hello, this
Hey.
is Cold Beer Conversations number 11. I made it through 11 this year. My goal was 10, so you're my bonus track of the year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So, we are here at Brookdale Farms, and we are doing our first of many Back to the Roots concert series. So, Craig Gerdes from Centralia, Illinois?
I'm from Central Illinois.
Central Illinois,
Yep,
okay.
Yep.
So we'll just kind of dive right in. So, how long have you been playing music?
I've been playing music since I was about 3 or 4 years old.
Really?
Which is, a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
when did you start playing, I guess, out and about and sharing with others?
My dad had a country band, and I grew up into music, and I was playing guitar in his country band when I was 10. So I grew up around the music. There was always music going on in my house, and he always had bands coming and going, and he was in the midst of forming another band. So I was always with him, and he's like,
You're like his little road buddy.
yeah. So they added me to the band. I was the 10-year-old guitar player in a country band.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah.
What's your dad's name?
AJ.
AJ? So did he record albums or anything?
He wrote songs, and yes, he recorded. Back then it was 45s. So,
Really?
Yeah.
So albums weren't that wasn't even thought of yet.
Yeah.
Okay. So how many albums do you have?
This will be my second coming
Second?
up. Yeah.
Okay. So out of all of the songs you've written, do you have a favorite of your own?
A favorite of my own, yeah. A song that I wrote about my wife Janelle called "She's Nothing Like Me" is probably. It's about the differences between her and I, how we're polar opposites. And
Opposites attract.
opposites attract, they make the world go around. So that's
Yep.
probably one of my favorites for sure.
And when did you write that?
I wrote it probably 7 years ago, 6, 7 years ago.
And is that on your?
It was on my last album. It was just
Okay.
a self-titled album, just Craig Gerdes.
Okay.
And, yeah, yep.
So
yep.
have you released details of your new album yet?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep. People have been pre-ordering them, and they will be out officially February the 16th. But there's been a couple different rounds of pre-orders, and people have been pre-ordering and getting them. And the second round, if they pre-order them, they get them before Christmas. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I might have to jump on there and do a
Yeah.
little pre-ordering then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how many tracks are on your album that's coming
9.
in? 9? Okay. And are they all songs you've written?
With exception of 2.
2? So how did you go about choosing those 2 songs? Because I feel like as an artist, artists always like to feature their own songs, but then they always hold some songs close to their heart for one reason or another. So how did you go about choosing the 2?
The first one was a no-brainer. When I was in Nashville for about 4 or 5 years writing songs, and I was writing for a small publishing firm, and the owner of the publishing firm played pedal steel guitar for Johnny Paycheck, and
Johnny Paycheck does it his own way.
yeah, and
It's kind of what he's known for.
I was always a Paycheck fan, and I was always a fan of his pedal steel player and his work, and just ended up happening to be my boss, you
Yeah.
know. And when I decided to go in the studio and record this record, I reached out to him and I said, I'm going to go in and I'm going to record my new record. And I said, I'm going to put a Paycheck song on there. Would you play steel?
Yeah.
And he said, heck yeah, I would. So I picked.
That's awesome.
I picked that particular song because Jim Vest, who's my publisher in Nashville, played on the original track in '77, and so it was 40 years later we decided to go in and cut this particular song. So that was it was near and dear to me that he was with Paycheck in '77
Yeah.
recording it, and then he was on my record and doing the pedal steel
That's
on mine
awesome.
too. Yeah, and the other one was written by a good friend of mine by the name
What
of
was the name of that song? Did you say that?
Slide Off Your Satin Sheets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know the song.
Yep, Slide Off Your Satin Sheets. Yeah.
Actually, I think when I was looking at your YouTube videos, that's one of your top viewed YouTube videos that you've done.
Yep. Yeah, and I've always loved that song.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Yep, I do it I had been doing it live for a long time, at my shows and stuff, and I thought it'd be cool to put my own twist on it.
And then what was the second one? You said
It was
there's
a song written by my good friend Dallas Moore, and I recorded this record outside of Cincinnati, Ohio, where Dallas does all his recording, and we were working up songs for the record, and he came in and sat down and he played me a song called "You Saved Me From Me," and it was a song about being saved by angels, and I could really relate to it. So I immediately loved that song and knew I was going to put it on the record. So that's the other song that I didn't write right there. So, but I loved it that much, and it was you mentioned something about songs being near and dear. And that song was really near and dear to me.
Sometimes when you hear the song, I know other musicians have said they wish they would have wrote it or they couldn't have
Yeah.
wrote it any better.
Yeah.
You know, you have this feeling that you want something to come out onto paper, you know, and be able to relate to people. And sometimes you just hear it and it speaks to you. So
Yeah, I felt that he wrote that song for me, and that's how I felt immediately, and I just really connected with it. I wouldn't have recorded it if I didn't really connect with it, and that's how I felt. And I told him, I said, I love that song, and he's like, well, you don't have. I'm not forcing it. And I said, no, I do, and I just really connected with it, and we went in and banged it out.
awesome. So let's talk about some of the other songs on your upcoming album. So what is your newest one, I guess you wrote?
The newest song on the record, it's probably a song called "Dead in a Box in Kentucky." That's probably on the record.
Okay.
It's probably one of the newest ones. They were all those songs on this new record were written within a year or two of each other, so they're all pretty new songs.
Now, are all of them kind of from experiences you've been through or other people or?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, experiences I've been through and experiences other people have been through too.
Okay. Is there any good ones on there, like that have good stories behind them of things you've been through or?
Yeah, Redneck Sons of Bitches.
Okay.
That's,
How'd you come up with that one?
That was all about my experiences in Nashville writing songs and getting my songs pitched.
That town has a lot of good and bad history.
Yeah, and getting rejected because my songs were too country at the time for what the industry wanted. Now the industry's changing, and so
Now look at it.
Yeah, yep. We're taking the country back in Nashville,
Yeah.
but that's what that song was all about, and it was all true. From rolling into town on my beat up four-door opening of the car, and the meeting with Billy Joe Shaver telling me to hang in there, I know how you
Yeah.
feel, and all those things. So if there was a song that's 100% entirely true on the song, it's that one. So, yeah.
Cool. So how long have you been, I guess, touring? Because you kind of made it up this way, and are you doing like a Midwest kind of leg right now?
Yeah, we're just kind of building up hype for the release of the record and the build up of the official album release, which will be February 14th at the Nashville Palace. So we've been, for the last year out doing this kind of stuff and making people aware, putting it on social media and doing whatever we can just to kind of build, fan the fire.
Yeah. Get people to hear about
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So, of all the places you've played, do you have a favorite town or place that you like to go back to?
I would have to say we enjoy Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, love Texas. There's a lot of areas that remind me of Texas. So when I tell Janelle, I said, don't this remind you of such and such place in Texas,
Yeah.
and but
San Antonio is one of our favorite
Yeah.
towns that we've been through.
yeah, it's just, the people, but there's great people everywhere, but the people in Texas are great, and very supportive and love their music. They're passionate about it, and man, everybody two-steps when you play.
Yeah, I do love the country line dance.
Yeah,
So when
yeah.
we went down there on vacation, I was excited to see that
Do you
that
line
was a
dance?
common that was common around there. So
Yeah.
now, do you travel with a band or do you do the solo acoustic thing more?
Both. We do whatever works, whatever people wants to do, the venues wants to do. The solo acoustic thing works nice because Janelle's, with me.
And Janelle's your wife, right?
She's my wife.
Yes.
Yeah. She's the brains of the operation. Yeah. I just hold the guitar pick.
It's good to have a good woman behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So you, where are you going after this?
Well, we're heading down to Carbondale, Illinois, to build some more awareness for the record.
Okay.
Play some more shows. I'll be doing a show at the Pin Oak Pub in Carterville, which is just right outside of Carbondale, and we're also doing a big Christmas party Saturday
Cool.
in Marion. So
Christmas is my favorite time of the year.
It is great, yeah.
It's like a very, even though it's cold out, it's a very warm time of the year.
It is a warm time.
Everything feels good about it. So as you're kind of traveling and hyping up your album, is there any state you want to get to? Because we've got some followers everywhere. Is there anywhere that you're like, I want to get to that state?
Well, you know, I always wanted to see the East Coast. Now, you can say when, you know, country music isn't conducive on the East Coast, and I don't know if it is or it isn't, but
I think
I always...
it's conducive anywhere.
I'm thinking so too. I always wanted to see the East Coast, so hopefully, in the near future, we can take the music there and, coast to coast. So.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Janelle wants to go anywhere south where it's...
where it's warm.
Yeah.
Especially right now when it's freezing outside. So when you write songs, is there one musician or artist in particular that you kind of look up to, or your mind tends to draw towards them when you write?
I always loved the way Chris Christopherson wrote songs, because the songs that he wrote, I thought, painted a picture in your mind. And not everybody writes that way, but that always registered with me as a little kid, hearing Chris Christopherson's song. Sunday morning coming down, you can see him, stumbling down the steps and fumbling through his closet to find his cleanest, dirty shirt, and, walking those empty streets in Nashville. I could see it. So even as a little kid, when I was starting to write songs, I thought if I could, write like Chris Christopherson could write, and I could make people see things the way Chris made me see, that would be great.
Be golden. Yeah.
Be golden.
He does have a way of making it, when you hear it, you can almost close your eyes and picture exactly what he's trying to paint.
Yeah, he'll always be one of my favorite writers of all time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for cutting out time to meet with us, and I'd like to say thank you to our sponsors, Bastard Brother Brewing Company. They're actually here at our event today doing a little tasting.
Yeah.
So if you haven't subscribed to our page, you should, because we host artists as they come through and try to host little events like this. So thank you.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, y'all, I'm Greg Gerdes. This is my brand new Christmas single called Christmas Eve at Our House. It goes like this. Christmas Eve at our house, I remember oh so well. Daddy come home, drunk as a skunk, and Mama getting mad as hell. Well, looking back, I understand what he did, the things he did. Christmas Eve at our house, when I was a kid. Daddy'd spend all Christmas Eve down at Teddy's place. Mama stay home and make divinity and pizzazz with my sister Kate. And I'd watch It's a Wonderful Life and wrap presents on the living room floor. And I'd wait for all hell to break loose as soon as Daddy walked through the door. Christmas Eve at our house, I remember oh so well. Daddy come home, drunk as a skunk, and Mama getting mad as hell. All she did, well, looking back, I understand what he did, the things he did. Christmas Eve at our house, when I was a kid. Well, it's the most wonderful time of the year. I heard everybody say, like the wonderful smell of whiskey and beer at our house on Christmas Day. And the festive aroma of Lucky Strikes hanging in the air. And we'd all gather around and sing Silent Night when Daddy was passed out in the chair. Christmas Eve at our house, I remember oh so well. Daddy come home, drunk as a skunk, and Mama getting mad as hell. Well, looking back, I understand why he did the things he did. Christmas Eve at our house when I was a kid. Christmas Eve at our house when I was a kid. It was the most wonderful time